Good evening, you're watching Estuary News. I'm Luke Adams. In the headlines tonight, an elderly woman dies following a collision over the weekend, how you could be part of playing host to visitors coming to Hull in 2017, creating a memorial wall for dementia patients, and helping Grimsby businesses become solar. And keeping me company on the sofa tonight are my guests Byron Young and Steve Skipworth of the Caxton Theatre, telling me about their latest acting offering. Hello, good evening. Welcome to Monday's programme. First tonight, an 83-year-old woman has died following a fatal road traffic collision near Driffield in East Yorkshire. The incident happened yesterday morning on the A614 Driffield bypass near Kellythorpe, where a silver-coloured Ford B Max Z-Tech had left the road and overturned before coming to stop in a field. The driver was an 81-year-old man who suffered serious but non-life-threatening injuries, and he's currently receiving treatment at Hull Royal Infirmary. Earlier in the day, Humberside Police had received a call reporting the couple missing, and searches had been taking place, including the use of a police helicopter. Anyone who saw the vehicle in the area between 2 p.m. on Saturday and 8:20 a.m. on Sunday are asked to contact Humberside Police on 101 to help with enquiries. Officers are appealing for witnesses following two attempted knife-point robberies in Scunthorpe yesterday. The first incident involved an 18-year-old woman who was walking along Ferry Road. She was approached by two men between 3:40 p.m. and 4:20 p.m. One of the men showed the woman a knife and demanded she hand over her bag. She handed it over before the men threw it on the floor and left across the car park. Later, a 21-year-old man was approached by a man who demanded his wallet and phone after showing him a knife. It happened at around 5:30 p.m. on Spencer Avenue. Two other men were seen with the offender, and all three left the area empty-handed. A 45-year-old man remains in a critical condition in hospital after suffering serious injuries following an incident at Hull Prison, which broke out on Saturday. Three men aged 18, 20 and 21 have been arrested and released on police bail to the custody of HM Prison Service, pending ongoing inquiries. Police were called to the prison at around 5:20 p.m. on Saturday afternoon. The three men involved in the incident are inmates at the prison. North Lincolnshire's transport routes will benefit from over £16.5 million during the 2016-17 season. Streetways, bridges, traffic lights and more will gain from over 100 schemes. The improvements will come after over £14 million was allocated from the government via North Lincolnshire Council's local transport plan, with an additional £2.45 million coming directly from the council itself. Councillor Neil Poon explains more.
It's no secret that the physical state of North Lincolnshire streets can leave a lot to be desired. However, North Lincolnshire Council are now putting a multi-million plan into action to improve our streets.
Well, as we all know, roads have been put in place over many years and have been designed to previous schemes. So it's very important to keep the highway system up to a modern standard. Investing £16.5 million in our local roads and infrastructure is a key issue with regards to improving mobility within North Lincolnshire, but also ensuring that roads are maintained to a very high standard.
Surface treatments, footway improvements, bridges, street lighting, street furniture and signals are just some of the areas that will gain from the funding.
Well, as people come and visit the area or people go about their business to and from work, the last thing you want to, when you're driving your car or your motorcycle, or in fact a cycle, is to be running over potholes. Gives a bad impression. Obviously, it causes a lot of damage to vehicles and also infrastructure. So it's important that all our residents are fully aware that we take road safety important, road surfaces important, and that we're going to do our utmost to ensure that the road surfaces within North Lincolnshire are to the highest standard. Also, visitors to the area. First impressions, when you're trying to attract new business and investment into North Lincolnshire, the first thing that people look at is how well things are maintained. And the key issue of that is obviously road surfaces, paths and the infrastructure. Well, it's about good impression. It's also about local communities seeing that if the council cares, they will care about their community. And it's also about our responsibility to ensure that North Lincolnshire has safe streets, but also streets that are safe to walk upon, paths safe to walk on, and roads safe to drive on. It's not just about maintenance either. We're also about improving traffic flows throughout the town and through North Lincolnshire as a whole. We've had some key issues in the past where we've had certain times of the day we have traffic build-up which slows movement around North Lincolnshire. We've got two big projects kicking in the next year or so, where we'll be developing two new roundabouts, on the M181. This will dramatically improve traffic flow at the Berkeley Circle and allow access in and out of the town on the principal routes. So there's some really good positive news going forward for everybody visiting North Lincolnshire and everybody who lives in North Lincolnshire.
Can you offer a spare room to visitors coming to Hull for City of Culture next year? If so, you could help be part of the city's celebrations. Hull residents are being encouraged to rent out their spare rooms to the million or so tourists during 2017, as there's only 1,000 hotel rooms in the city centre. Anybody who accepts the Homestay Challenge will be able to sign up for the Big Welcome training offered by Visit Hull and East Yorkshire to hospitality and tourism professionals. The training aims to develop knowledge and build enthusiasm in a bid to create more ambassadors to tell the world about the city. Martin Green, CEO and Director of Hull 2017, says that every resident of the city is the face of Hull 2017 and are encouraged to embrace the everyone back to our spirit by throwing open their front doors. Local social enterprises and charities in the Grimsby area can now benefit from a community energy scheme. Dr Vicky Dunn is leading this scheme, which, although new to the area, has proved successful in other communities across the country. The project involves solar PV schemes on 6 buildings in the Grimsby area and are designed to reduce the running costs of the chosen charities. The charities can then put that saved money back into the community. St Andrew's Hospice in Grimsby is one of the first to benefit from the scheme. Fred McNamara spoke to Vicky and Emily Aitken of St Andrew's Hospice to find out more.
All these organisations need money for their frontline services, and if we can help lower their electricity bills, then they've got money to spend on the core things which they do, which is what we would like to do. We also want people from the community to look at our share offer document, and if it's right for them, take advice if they need to, and if it's right for them, invest some money in their local community. They get a fair return, they get the money back over the years, and they get the benefit.
So Vicky approached us and then put forward the proposed plan. They looked at the money that we have been spending on our electricity bills within this shop and proposed how much money we could save through this scheme. The building's actually owned by the Freemans, so they agreed to have the solar panels on the top of the building, and then, like I say, they've approached us to show how much money we can save. A lot of our shops, the biggest outlay is the utility bills, so any way that we can save money and make more money for the hospice is what we want to do.
All the other schemes which we've studied and learned from and we've received mentoring from, they've not stopped at scheme number 1, they've done scheme number 2, scheme number 3, and they've generated more interest in the buildings, they've got more local people involved, and they generate more funds for community benefit locally. When we've done the consultation, most people said they'd like us to spend the community benefit fund on improving local community buildings, which again is a cost saving to them and makes their core missions easier to do.
So we can benefit in 2 ways, is that the energy that we generate, for instance, we've got solar panels on our hospice site at Peaks Lane, and the energy that we've the energy that we generate for the hospice over a 12-month period is enough to fuel 8 houses, so it's really important. We're very much a face of the community and we want to be able to do something that matters for the community, but also ultimately is to look after people with life-limited diseases, and without, we have to be very careful on the money that we spend, so it's really important that we look at new ways of trying to cut down our costs and generate a different income for the hospice.
So if somebody wanted to invest, they need to look on shareenergy.coop. If they search the web for Share Energy, they'll find them, and they're a national organisation who are helping us run the share issue. From there they can look at the share offer document and have a look, see if it's right for them, fill the form in if it is, and send their cheque in. We can also be found on Facebook, Grimsby Community Energy, and on Twitter, so you'll be able to find us by one of those routes, I'm sure.
The best thing is saving us money and making sure that, like I say, the money that we receive from, for instance, selling donated items in our shops is actually every single penny we can spend on putting it back into the hospice for looking after people with life-limited diseases, whether that be one of the bedrooms, or whether it be for a nurse, to pay for a nurse, or whether it be for complementary therapy. All of those areas is what we're here to do within our shops.
And if you're a local charity or community enterprise and would like to find out more, you can visit www.shareenergy.coop and download the Community Share Offer document. You can also find Grimsby Community Energy on Facebook and Twitter. Next this afternoon, a care home specialising in caring for people with advanced dementia is inviting the loved ones of former residents to help them to create a memorial wall. A meadow of forget-me-not flowers is being stencilled onto the wall along the main stairwell at the old schoolhouse in Beverley in memory of former residents who've lost their battles with dementia. The condition affects around 5,000 people in the East Riding alone. Emma Smith is the service manager and explains how the project came about.
This project was organised through, following a refurbishment here at the Old Schoolhouse, which is a specialist unit for people with advanced dementias, and a family forum where some families got together and spoke about the opportunity for some reflection and looking back on former residents that used to live here, and came up with this lovely idea of some forget-me-nots. So really that's where it all started. Sarah Boucher, the Senior Care Officer here at the Old Schoolhouse, is keen to talk to anybody, any loved ones of former residents that used to live here at Old Schoolhouse, and basically get in touch with her and arrange to come through. We can meet with staff, you know, really reflect on that person and come and paint the flower on the wall with a few of the staff. So yeah, you can get in touch at the Old Schoolhouse. The number is 01482 868 118.
That's all for part one. Join me after the break when we'll have more of the day's news headlines. Welcome back. You're watching Estuary News. Still to come tonight, more of the day's news headlines and all the latest news from the world of sport. Hull City Council has announced the local company will undertake the carriageway widening works on Andleby Road. Wright Civil Engineering will start work next Monday on the £347 project needed to remove the pinch point outside Hull Ryan Infirmary and relieve congestion for motorists using this route. The scheme will introduce two outbound lanes opposite the hospital to address the bottleneck issues currently being experienced, which will not only improve road capacity but ensure that traffic is able to function more punctually. Graham Hall from Hull City Council says these works are crucial in order to improve the traffic flow and relieve congestion near the hospital. Next this afternoon, young patients at Scunthorpe Hospital are getting a reward for their bravery thanks to a kind donation. The Winterton and District Lions delivered 2 boxes of Bravery Bears to the hospital staff to give out to children. The cuddly toys are for patients attending A&E or those who have been admitted to the paediatric ward at the hospital. President of the Winterton and District Lions, Jane Wayne, and her husband Paul delivered 30 bears to A&E and another 30 to the Disney ward. Samantha Oliphant, nurse practitioner in A&E, says the bears will put a smile on the faces of children and offer some comfort to them at what can be a frightening time. A group of 15 midwives from Grimsby Hospital are set to get muddy, all in aid of charity. They're set to take part in the Filthy Girl Mud Run being held in Derbyshire this Saturday in an effort to raise funds for the maternity unit. The midwives, who work on the blueberry, jasmine, holly and honeysuckle wards, are signed up to compete in a 4K or 10K muddy obstacle course. The runners include 2 retired midwives who've agreed to help their former colleagues raise money. Now, the Caxton Theatre are about to tread the boards with their latest production. The Lady Killers tells the classic tale of Mrs. Wilberforce alone in her house, pitted against a gang of criminal misfits. Sounds great fun. To tell me more about it, I'm delighted to welcome my guests today, Byron Young and Steve Skipworth, 2 of the stars of the show. Gentlemen, thank you very much for coming in.
Nice to come, Luke.
Sounds very scary, the play.
Yes, it's a scary comedy, but I wouldn't say it was a dark comedy, would you, Steve?
Towards the end.
Towards the end.
It gets rather dark towards the end.
Can't say too much about the ending,
A
obviously.
classic film,
Yes.
gentlemen, dated
Yes.
back to 1955, and then it became a stage play, and you're now treading the boards with this play yourself. So
Yeah.
tell me about the actual story of the play.
Well, I play Professor Marcus. He's
Okay.
the conductor of a quintet of criminals, really, but they're posing as a proper quintet with musical instruments, and they are living at an old lady's house, Mrs.
Okay.
Wilberforce.
Right.
He goes round to her house, asks if she's got a room to let. She has. And then I invite all my friends round, and we are planning a robbery.
Right.
While she's completely unaware of what we're doing.
Okay, so you're a little bit of a crook.
Yes, very
He's a
much
bit of
so.
a crook.
Very crook.
Okay.
Very crooked.
Steve, what's your role in the play?
I play One Round, who is a retired boxer who basically is permanently punch drunk and doesn't really know what's going on most of the time. I suppose I'm the sympathetic character of the five.
Okay.
I might gain the audience sympathy. I might.
Simple and
Thank you. Yes, thank you. Simple.
So there's a gang of 5 robbers
Yeah.
pitted against Mrs. Wilberforce.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
A formidable character central to the play, I
Just
assume.
a very Miss Marple sort of person.
Okay.
Very quaint, dodders around, makes tea all the time, makes out she doesn't know what's going on, but clearly
Quite
in the back of her
sharp.
mind, she's a little bit more sharp than what the gangsters think.
Yes.
And she one by one, she trips them up a little bit and gets to know a
right.
few more things without giving too much away.
An interesting twist there. So
Yes, absolutely.
a lady not to be reckoned with.
Absolutely, Luke, absolutely.
I
Yeah.
think the highlight
Yeah.
of the show would be the concert we give at the end of the first half.
Oh, without a shadow of a doubt, yeah.
Well,
And we've all had to learn
how to
I've
play.
learned how to learn how to
Yeah.
conduct, and all the lads have learned how to
Play their instruments.
cello
and violins.
Yes.
Okay.
Or
So a
in
bit
this
of-
case, a large violin.
Right, okay. So a bit of music involved there as well.
Oh, there's music.
yeah.
There's some nice.
Yes,
What do you say?
a bit of music.
Yeah, classical.
Yes.
Classical. Boccherini's Minuet.
Okay.
If you know at all.
I do like classical, but I'm not familiar with that particular
Yes.
composition. I'm
You
afraid.
would know it if you heard it, but not the way we play.
The Lady Killers at the Caxton Theatre. Tell me importantly when this play is going to be staged and when people can come to
Okay.
watch it.
Steve?
Saturday the 3rd of September to Saturday the 10th, although we don't perform on a Sunday.
Okay.
Evening performance is only 7:30.
Okay.
You going to tell them where the tickets are from?
Yeah, we get the tickets online or from the library in Cleethorpes. There's an information centre inside the library in Cleethorpes.
Okay, so we can get hold of the tickets from various sources.
Yeah.
How are ticket sales going so far?
I think we're up to 50%.
50, 55, something like that. It's quite normal for this time, 3 weeks before the play. But we do have, annual members, don't we, Caxtons,
Yes.
and they're already get their tickets.
Okay.
And generally 2 or 3 weeks beforehand, and then the paper puts it in as well, with Chronicle, the Evening
Yes.
Telegraph,
Yes.
and Ross Carrick covers it on Compass FM for us as well.
Fantastic.
So, yeah.
Okay. And rehearsals are now underway. I believe you're jetting off to do some rehearsals this evening.
Yes,
after we
Monday,
leave
Wednesday,
here.
Friday. We're rehearsing that on stage now. We first 6 weeks are in rehearsal rooms.
Okay.
As the play that's about to go on rehearses on stage, and once their production's finished, we strip their stage on the Sunday, build our stage on the Monday.
Wonderful.
But in this case, it is quite a fantastic stage.
Well, I wish you all the best with the production with the Lady Killers. Thank you very much for coming in today,
Welcome.
gentlemen.
Thanks very much.
Now it's time for all the latest sporting action, courtesy of Dan Kemp.
Hull City's caretaker manager Mike Phelan says he plans to sit down with the club's owners this week to discuss the future. Phelan was in temporary charge for City's 2-1 win over reigning Premier League champions Leicester City on Saturday. The game was watched from the stands by a group of investors from China and Hong Kong who were reportedly interested in purchasing the club. And he says he needs to sit down with the current owners, the Alam family, to learn what happens next.
I hope there's communication there. It's important that you know exactly what direction things are going in. I'm sure everybody's elated about one result. It's always pleasing because, like I said, the Premier League doesn't give you many good Saturdays. It can be turbulent. But I think meeting everybody, sitting down, discussing going forward is an important factor of any football club, and this shouldn't be any different.
Adama Diamande and Robert Snodgrass scored Hull's goals in the game, which saw the Tigers use none of their substitutes.
I would have had no problems today, if we had a problem or an injury, to put any of those players on. It was just a case of when we did it, how we did it, or if we needed to do it. And I just thought, as the game moved into the final 15 minutes, I still felt as though there was some strength in the team. They didn't waver, and they conducted themselves really well, and they fancied the chances in the last 15 minutes.
Elsewhere at the weekend, Graham Alexander returned to his former club Fleetwood Town, where the two sides shared the spoils. Kevin Von Veen and Tom Hopper scored the goals for the Iron in the 2-2 draw at Highbury. They sit fourth in League One with 4 points following the opening 2 games. And fullback Jordan Clark says a playoff place is the least they expect to come the end of the season.
I think the aims for this season, for me personally, is to go one better than last season. So, which is either promotion straight away or playoffs. But obviously it's a long season, everybody knows that there's a lot more games, and the game's coming thick and fast already, so we need to all keep us as healthy as possible, as fit as possible, and keep our minds right.
Grimsby Town suffered their first league defeat, going down 2-1 at Wycombe Wanderers. Defender Andrew Boyce thought he'd snatched a point for the Mariners after equalising 10 minutes from time, but Anthony Stewart scored an added time winner for the Midlands club. Elsewhere, North Ferriby United lost 2-0 at Dover in the National League. They're looking to bounce back tomorrow night when they host Guiseley. On to rugby, and Hull Kingston Rovers coach James Webster says he couldn't fault his team's commitment in their defeat to Leeds Rhinos in the Super 8 qualifiers. The Robins lost 22-18 at Headingley. James Greenwood, James Donaldson and George Lawler each scored a try, but Webster says it was a very close game with some of the players struggling from fatigue. And finally for now, Hull FC Academy star Jez Litton says he's happy to be back in the city after touring Australia with England's academy side. The 18-year-old arrived back last Tuesday and went straight into the FC Under-23s game against St Helens on Friday, scoring a try from the bench. And that's all for the sport.
That's it for this Monday evening, I'm afraid. If you have a news story, then please visit our Facebook or Twitter pages or email news@estuary.tv. You can also phone our news desk, which is a Grimsby number, 01472 31553. That's 01472 31553. You can also put pen to paper and write to us at Estuary TV, Nuns Corner, Laceby Road, Grimsby, North East Lincolnshire, DN 345BQ. Just time to quickly tell you that this Friday, the 19th of August, marks World Photo Day. Holiday season is upon us, of course, so if you have any happy snaps from your jollies, please send them in to us in the usual way. The Caxton Theatre's production of The Lady Killers will be performed on the 3rd of September to the 10th of September at the Caxton Theatre, of course. Tickets vary from prices from £7.50 up to £8, £7.50 all week, concessions on a Saturday and £8 on the Monday. Thank you to my guests for joining me on the sofa today, and as always, thank you for watching. Join me same time tomorrow when keeping me company on the sofa is Andy Sanders with a spot of story time. Until tomorrow, good evening.
With university courses on your doorstep, there's lots of reasons to study at the University Centre Grimsby. Sponsored by the University Centre Grimsby.
Hello, I hope you all had a fantastic weekend. It's time for Estuary TV's weather. Dry with long clear periods this evening, any cloud restricted to the coast. Some isolated fog patches are possible towards dawn, especially in the Vale of York. Feeling cool under the clear skies and light winds and minimum temperatures of 9 degrees. Tomorrow we're going to see a dry, sunny morning, but cloud bubbling up through the day to give the sun a more hazy feel by the afternoon. It will feel pleasantly warm in light winds, maximum temperatures of 20 degrees.
With university courses on your doorstep, there's lots of reasons to study at the University Centre Grimsby. Sponsored by the University Centre Grimsby.
Good evening, you're watching Estuary News. In the headlines tonight, a man is assaulted in Hull, further arrests in Grimsby, improving children's literacy, a burst of colour in Cleethorpes and combating a load of old rubbish in Hull. And I'll be enjoying a spot of story time with my guest today, children's author and illustrator Andy Sanders. Hello, good evening. Welcome to Tuesday's programme with me, Luke Adams. First tonight, a 23-year-old man has been assaulted outside the Ferrens Art Gallery in Hull. The incident took place yesterday afternoon at approximately 5 p.m. when the man and his partner were walking and an unknown man barged past them. The offender later started to follow the couple and then punched the victim numerous times in the head and pushed him into a set of railings. The victim suffered bruising on his face. The suspect is described as white, between the ages of 22 and 28 years old, with a slim build and short blonde hair. He spoke with a local accent. Anyone who witnessed the incident is asked to call Humberside Police on 101. A third man has been arrested in connection to a racially aggravated incident in Stanley Street, Grimsby, which took place last Tuesday evening. Witnesses are still being asked to come forward to help with police inquiries when it's alleged a group of men caused criminal damage and made racist comments and threats towards the occupants of a property. It happened at 11:15. 3 men aged 33, 34 and 23 were arrested on suspicion of affray and causing racially aggravated criminal damage. Love Hull, hate litter. That's the message from Hull City Council, as a new campaign is calling on the public to take pride in their city and not drop litter. Businesses across the city centre have pledged their support towards tackling the widespread issue in an effort to get the city clean in the run-up to Hull 2017. Last month alone, 90 tonnes of litter was collected from across Hull. Councillor Martin Mancy explains what can be done to help tackle the problem.
Last month, for example, we picked up 90 tonnes of litter. Now, that obviously takes a lot of resources, which could be far better used in providing other services to the council. So, as I say, today it's about raising public awareness and trying to get people to have more pride in their city. And that is obviously particularly important with City of Culture coming up next year, when we'll have 1 million or so visitors to the city, and we want them to go away with a good impression.
I think people notice somewhere when it's clean and tidy. I think when you go somewhere where there isn't a litter problem, it makes that place much more attractive to visitors, and I think we need to strive towards that in Hull.
I think litter is a problem across the city. Obviously in the city centre and other areas where you have lots of shops and eating establishments, fast food takeaways and so on, there's more of a concentration of litter. But this isn't just an initiative about the city centre, this is a city-wide initiative. And in that respect we will be stenciling the symbols on the pavement all over the city.
Excitement is building as the return of the Cleethorpes Colour Run draws closer. Following the popularity of the inaugural race last year, 2,000 people have already signed up for this year's event, which will take place in September. Organisers of the event tell us what's in store next month.
We are here to promote the fantastic Cleethorpes Colour Run that's backed by popular demand at the Meridian Showground on the 11th of September.
It's basically a celebration of all the fantastic things that's happening in our resort. Cleethorpes and North East Lincolnshire is really going places now, so as event organisers we wanted to sort of extend the season and just showcase how fabulous the resort is by getting everyone out, participating in outdoor activities. We're using the coast as part of the 5k run, so you can come and join in, hop, skip, walk, jog, whichever you want to do. So it's about taking part, family fun, and it's just a celebration of all the great things that's happening and having some fun while getting blasted with a load of coloured powder paint at the same time.
I represent Marshall Mini in Grimsby, and it was something we wanted to get involved with last year, but circumstances meant that we didn't, so it was something we were really keen to be involved with this year. I think the colour run itself represents the Mini brand really well, and that it's fun and people want to get involved, and that's what our Mini customers really enjoy, and it's something that suits our brand, so that's why we really wanted to get involved and work with the local community as well, and with Visit Cleethorpes.
As part of the event, one of the best things is the final end finish, which we've got lots of family fun happening. We've got better days presenting lots of different types of genres of music, having an end of festival with lots of colour being chucked around. So we'd love everybody to come and take part. we'd love everybody to come and take part, whether you're spectating, whether you're participating. It really is a great place to come and live, work, invest and visit. So a lot of momentum happening in the area, so please come and support on the day, Sunday the 11th. If you would like to buy your tickets, it's for all ages, all abilities, and you can get these from the Cleethorpes Tourist Information Centre or online.
North Lincolnshire Council is urging motorcyclists who are causing a nuisance in communities to stop their antisocial behaviour both on and off road. The police have the power to seize any vehicles immediately if the driver has no licence, no insurance, is driving antisocially or believed to be intoxicated in some way. If a vehicle fails to stop, the police have the power to seize it within 24 hours from when the request was made of the driver. Any vehicles used in an antisocial manner can be seized. Councillor Richard Hannigan of North Lincolnshire Council says it's totally unacceptable for people on motorcycles to drive around causing a nuisance in communities and urges residents and responsible motorcyclists to report these antisocial riders. Local company Connexon has been selected to deliver free Wi-Fi across the city as Hull gears up for its year as the UK City of Culture 2017. From the core of the city centre, the open-air coverage will include Queen Victoria Square, King Edward Street, Jameson Street, parts of the Old Town and Marina, as well as the Hull Interchange. In addition, there will be a number of sites in digital inclusion areas, including North Bransholme, Orchard Park, Long Hill and Preston Road, with the opportunity to expand coverage even further across the city. Connexon will provide users with up to 50 megabytes worth of free downloads a day, with expected speeds of between 10 to 15 megabytes per second, as well as the ability to stream short video content. Councillor Helena Spencer, portfolio holder for business support at the council, says improving internet connectivity is crucial for the city to realise its potential as a growing digital sector. Next this afternoon, Humberside Police are urging the public to once again lock their bikes with a good lock after a staggering 213 cycles were reported stolen in July, with a combined estimated value of £65,000. In the majority of cases, the bikes were stolen by opportunists that have spotted cycles left insecure or locked, with poor quality locks or left in outbuildings. Chief Inspector Ian Dixon says the cost of the average bike stolen in Humberside was over £300, and comes as no surprise that they're being targeted by thieves, especially when left unlocked and on prominent display. Humberside Police have advised to spend around 10% of the value of the bike on a good quality lock. North Lincolnshire Council has set up a children's literacy trust that will launch later this year as part of the Festival of Skills and Opportunities. The trust will inspire children and their parents to develop their literacy skills and raise awareness of the importance of literacy. The trust will be a charitable incorporated organisation with a board of trustees who will be from a range of areas, including business professionals, community representatives and people from the voluntary sector and schools. Councillor Rob Waltham explains how the new trust aims to engage with young children.
Well, I mean, the Imagination Library first came to us when Andrew Percy, the local MP for Brigham Gould, brought it to the council and said, this is a great opportunity, working with the Dolly Parton Foundation, to see how we can get as many children between 0 and 5 reading books on a regular basis. So now the council funds, to the tune of £250,000 every year, a book through the door every month for children between 0 and 5. So this is the next stage about how we get businesses to start to be involved in that, because it's a real culture thing, literacy and learning, and if you can get employers to realise that it's their employees that have got children and grandchildren who would benefit from the scheme. Oh well, I mean, it is a lifelong thing. That's the first thing that I would say, because it doesn't matter where you left school or how good you were at school. You know, it's important to keep literacy and numeracy in your life, you know, all the way through. So I think the first thing I would say is it's really important that we encourage as many people to go in via the adult learning route to get into literacy and numeracy, and that's why we're working with employers now, and that's exactly the basis behind the Literacy Trust, because it enables us to sort of weave in literacy and numeracy, bring the children in, which is why it's really important to engage them, because they've obviously got some, you know, really important start of their lives, and then of course we can build a culture around literacy and numeracy, which we do know that if people have got good literacy and numeracy skills, they've got a better chance of getting a better job, and a better paid job at that. Well, I think several things. First of all, a love of reading, which I think is really important for anybody. Second of all, permanently building up skills, because what we do know is the more enriched your vocabulary, the better conversations you'll be having, and obviously that encourages a whole new debate about how you approach employability in a very different way. And I think finally it's just this whole culture that sets in that we want people to learn for life, and we want people to continue to encourage and develop themselves as individuals. We want employers to be part of that so they can see that it's good to keep their workforces developed, and then obviously maintaining a positive culture around how do we encourage employers to locate in this area. They see the culture is about learning, they see the culture is about a committed workforce, so why wouldn't you come and locate in North Lincolnshire?
That's just about it for part one this Tuesday afternoon. Join me after the break when we'll have more of the day's headlines, all the latest sporting action courtesy of Dan Kemp, and I'll be talking to children's illustrator Andy Sanders about his first picture book. He's with me on the sofa now, along with Porker.
Hello. We're looking forward to spending time with you after the break.
Tell me about your first book.
Absolutely.
Which has an interesting title which may quench our thirsts.
Absolutely, yes.
More to be revealed. We'll see you in a couple of minutes. Welcome back. You're watching Estuary News. Still to come this Tuesday evening, Dan Kemp brings us all the news from the world of sport, and I enjoy a spot of story time with my guest, Andy Sanders. More of the day's news headlines first, and more than £800,000 has been invested into buying 5 brand new refuse freighters. West Lindsey District Council has already taken delivery of the Dennis Eagle freighters as part of its continuing investment in its award-winning operational services. The vehicles have the very latest technology on board, including electric bin lifts, 360-degree cameras and radar reversing collision avoidance system. Sounds very technical. Each vehicle costs around £167,000 and is expected to last at least 6 years. 1.6 million bins will be emptied in its lifetime. The Do Something Different Summer Games will be taking place in Scunthorpe next week, aimed at people with a disability, where anyone aged 16 and over can take part in the event. A wide variety of activities are delivered through the project, which will be showcased at the Games. People with a disability will have a chance to have a go at something they may not have been able to before and try out new things such as flag making, multi-sports and even archery. The project aims to get those with a disability more socially and physically active. It will be held next Wednesday at the Pods in Scunthorpe. Big-hearted teenagers who have been taking part in the National Citizen Service Programme have helped children with mental health problems by providing yet more toys while waiting for appointments in hospital. As part of the programme, the teenagers set up a team called Differentia, making a difference to benefit the local community. £346 was raised through various charitable missions, including a 12-mile swim and a 10-mile walk. The money was then used to buy a big bundle of toys for the Children and Young People's Mental Health Service at St Nicholas House in Scunthorpe. Richard Bryan of the service says it's fantastic what these young people have achieved, and the children will love the toys they have bought for them. A cheery Yorkshire-based writer and illustrator has put his creative talents to good use by producing a children's picture book. It tells the eccentric tale about one boy's love for orange juice and his brother. I'm joined now by Andy Sanders and Porker to tell me more about it. Good afternoon, gentlemen.
Good afternoon.
Thank you very much indeed for coming in.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you both too. And I believe Porker, Andy, first of all, is a key character in the book.
Yes, he absolutely is. This is Porker, and he's the main character from my first picture book, I Have an Orange Juicy Drink. It's a story about a little fella who loves his orange juicy drink more than anything else in the world, and if aliens or dinosaurs or elephants try and steal it off him, they all come to an unfortunate and sticky demise. However, his brother, as you mentioned in the introduction, Well, he asks nicely, and for that reason, he doesn't come to a sticky end. Instead, he might just get some of the juicy drink.
So he's rewarded as well.
He is,
at the end of the
absolutely.
story.
He is, yeah,
That's the
very
book
much
here.
so.
Yes.
It's my first book. I'm really pleased with it, and I've had such good feedback from all the children and the schools that I've been into, and it just seems to go down really well with people, especially if they've got brothers or sisters.
Yes.
You know, about being taught the value of sharing. It's a really nice book for anyone that's got maybe a couple of kids that are, you know, having trouble sharing.
Fantastic, Andy. You're very passionate about the book and also your work as a children's illustrator and author. The book is now on sale. I believe it went on sale in March, didn't it?
Yeah, that's right. It launched in March, yeah.
How are sales going so far?
Brilliantly. We're doing really well, actually. These are the first editions that we're selling, and they're selling very well. We've got hardbacks and softbacks. And we've just found out actually in the last week that it's won something called a Junior Design Award, which is a very prestigious award to win. You're in good company because people like Jamie Oliver and Nigella Lawson and other folks have won one for things like children's cookbooks.
Commendable to yourself,
Yeah.
considering the book has only recently gone on sale, you know, quite hot off the press.
Yeah.
So how does it feel to receive that recognition and reward, you know, so soon after your book going on sale?
It's amazing, to be honest with you. Both myself and Porker are very proud, aren't we? We are, because you know you work all your life to try and achieve something. And I went to university, I studied animation, and I studied a master's in illustration. And for me to get this book published was great, but to find out it was nominated and then won this award was just something else. You know, it's brilliant, and it's a real reflection on the hard work and the dedication I put into it as well.
You always wanted to be a children's illustrator and author then. Where did that come from?
It's something I never grew out of. You know, when you're little, you have a dream or whatever you want to do. And in my case, I always wanted to draw pictures. I always wanted to tell stories. And it just so happens that I got myself an agent. I found a publisher who was interested in it. And they took a chance on me. And they've said actually that this is the first one in the series. They're looking to publish the next couple in the series as well.
Because I believe on the table here, Andy, we also have some of the other books, like you say, in the series. So
yes, that's right.
This book, I Have an Orange Juicy Drink, started in its simplest form like this, didn't it?
It did, yes, that's right.
And as a little or almost pocket book.
That's right, yes. And it's now going to be hopefully part of a series where we'll see other ones like Bath Timing, about a cheeky octopus in the bath, and hopefully they're going to be published in 2017. Now, it also happens in 2017 that it's going to get published internationally too. So that's a very exciting development because it means that it's going to be available in...
Andy Sanders and Porker are going global.
We are indeed, aren't we, fella? Yes, we are. It's going to be in Spanish and Catalan that it gets published, so it'll be published in Europe again in 2017.
Fantastic. So some of the other books in the series, and Andy, obviously you just mentioned Bath Timing there. Rabi, is that the
Rabi is how it's pronounced, yes.
Interesting title. What does that book tell us?
It's about a big bully who tries to pick on his big brother, and Porker has to stick up for his brother and make sure that he doesn't get injured or in any way mistreated.
Okay, so you mentioned Porker again. Is he a central character throughout this series of books?
Indeed he is, yes. He's the main character through all of them, aren't you? Yes, he is.
A silent part this afternoon, but a pivotal part nonetheless.
Absolutely.
Now, Andy, your book is on sale, as I said, and I believe you're offering meet and greet opportunities as well at bookstores across the region, is that correct?
That's right. We've done Hull, York and a few other places as well. And later this month, it's going to be the 27th, which is a Saturday. I'm going to be in Harrogate, and if anybody would like to come along and see me, I'm going to be doing drawing activities, signing books, and just generally having a whole load of fun and acting like a big kid. And we're going to be doing that for Waterstones 11 till 2 on the 27th.
Fantastic. So I believe your book is available from all good booksellers and also online sources. £10.99 the hardback version and £6.99 in paperback.
That's correct, yes.
Fantastic. Now, Andy, we saw earlier in today's programme the Children's Literacy Trust in North Lincolnshire helping to develop children's understanding of literacy. Why do you think it's important for children to have an understanding of literacy and engage with reading books?
It's huge. Part of the ethos behind the publishers of this book was that they want to get young children, often from cities and inner cities and you know, perhaps from a poorer background or a more disadvantaged background. They don't want them to get left behind. They want everybody to enjoy reading. And the idea is that if you can get people interested in it when they're young, and ideally through something very humorous and silly, then it gives them the chance to then do that.
Excellent. Well, here's the book in question, your debut book, Andy. I Have an Orange Juicy Drink. I wish you all the best. Thank you very much, Ed, for coming in to see me today. A spot of sport now, courtesy of our man, Dan Kemp.
Scunthorpe United travel to AFC Wimbledon tonight in League One, but they'll once again be without top scorer from last season, Paddy Madden. The Irish striker is yet to make an appearance so far through injury and will be joined on the sidelines by Jamie Ness. Both have calf injuries. The game kicks off at Kingsmeadow at 7:45. Elsewhere, Grimsby Town are down in Essex tonight as they visit Colchester United. Captain Craig Disley is expected to be back in the Mariners squad for the game, but Zach Mills will once again be missing through injury. Tonight's hosts have 4 points from their opening 2 games ahead of the 7:45 kickoff. And North Ferriby United are our third local side in action. They welcome Guiseley to the Yon Visual Media Stadium as they look to pick up their first ever win in the top tier of non-league. Hull City are in advanced talks with Hungary striker Nemanja Nikolic. According to reports today, he was part of the Hungarian side that made the knockout stages of Euro 2016 and has been linked with a £3 million move from his current club, Legia Warsaw. Meanwhile, caretaker manager Mike Phelan says he's keen to make sure Saturday's result doesn't mean his team get complacent. They beat reigning Premier League champions Leicester City 2-1 thanks to Adama Diomande and Robert Snodgrass goals.
One result is one result. You know, it's a massive season. It's huge. You know, for this football club to get promoted, to be back to where they wanted to be, they earned the right to be here. Those players have earned the right to be in this position. You know, and we've got to now concentrate and not get carried away with it, because this league is cruel. It can be hard, and if you take your eye off the game, then you can be hurt badly.
Hull FC captain Gareth Ellis has been rested for the Black and Whites game against Catalans on Thursday. He's been replaced by returning halfback Mark Sneed, who missed last week's win due to injury. Jordan Abdul has kept his place after impressing in the win over Widnes Vikings. And across the city, and Robert Hicks has been appointed as the referee for Friday's Super 8 qualifiers game against the Salford Red Devils. Both sides have a win and a defeat each so far in their efforts to return to Super League for next season. And that's all from the sport.
That's it for this Tuesday evening, I'm afraid. As always, if you have a news story, then please visit our Facebook or Twitter pages or email news@estuary.tv. You can also phone our news desk, which is a Grimsby number, 01472315553. That's 01472315553. You can also put pen to paper and write to us at Estuary TV, Nuns Corner, Laceby Road, Grimsby, North East Lincolnshire, DN34 5BQ. Once again, just time to quickly tell you that this Friday, the 19th of August, is World Photo Day. Holiday season is upon us, of course, so if you have any happy snaps from your travels, please send them in to us in the usual way. Thank you very much to Andy Sanders for joining me on the sofa today, and as always, thank you for watching. Join me same time tomorrow when local musicians Owen Peart and Rob Brealey will be telling me about their role in this year's Clean It Rocks. Don't forget, this book, I Have an Orange Juicy Drink by our guest today, Andy Sanders, is now available from all good booksellers, priced £10.99, along with Porker as well. Until tomorrow, from all of us on the team, happy reading. Good evening. Good evening, you're watching Estuary News. In the headlines tonight, a wind turbine farm receives opposition, employment figures show prosperity for the region, meeting some canine friends and having a flutter with some magical moths. And I'm joined on the sofa by Fraser MacDonald and Rob Brealey, telling me on how they plan to rock Cleethorpes Town. Hello, welcome to Wednesday's programme with me, Luke Adams. First tonight, 300 wind turbines will be erected off the East Yorkshire coast after the Secretary of State for Energy granted development consent for the world's largest offshore wind farm yesterday. Turbines created by the Dong Energy Hornsea Project 2 scheme will have a capacity of up to 1.8 gigawatts of energy, enabling them to power around 1.6 million homes. More than 2,000 jobs will be created through the development, which would total approximately $6 billion for the Humber region and beyond, if built to the full capacity. Lord Haskins, chairman of the Humber LEP, says the development is a further demonstration that the Humber, which is the UK's energy estuary, is at the centre of this growing industry and has major potential. However, the RSPB has criticised the decision for the development to be given the go-ahead, claiming it poses an unacceptable risk to nature as it's in the flight path of 2 threatened species of seabirds, gannets and kittiwakes. Dong Energy are yet to respond to the charity's claims. Humberside police are appealing for witnesses after a man was seen exposing himself on Inglemire Avenue in Hull last Wednesday afternoon. A group of friends were sat in a car at the traffic lights with the junction with Beverley Road when they witnessed the incident take place. The suspect is described as an average build, wearing a hard hat, high-vis top and khaki-coloured trousers. Anyone who can help identify the man is asked to call Humberside Police on 101 to help with their inquiries. Underwater search teams have been searching the River Trent today as part of an ongoing investigation into a missing man from Burringham near Scunthorpe. 50-year-old Neil Fairbairn was last seen at around 2 a.m. on Sunday and was in contact with his family between 2:30 a.m. and 2:50 a.m. His silver Vauxhall Astra was found abandoned close to the tree line of the cemetery close to the River Trent off High Street. It's thought he was wearing trainers and black cargo-style trousers when he disappeared. Who let the dogs out in Cleethorpes today? The Wolf's Dog Show did. The Meridian Showground hosted a day-long event in celebration of Lincolnshire's canines. It was jam-packed with competitions, stalls and events, with the public getting the chance to show off their pups. The event also played host to the launch of Dog Watch, a new community-led scheme that aims to get dog owners and walkers involved in keeping the streets of Lincolnshire safe. Our news hound, Fred McNamara, went along to find out more.
The Wolf's Dog Show, held today at Meridian Showground in Cleethorpes, promised to be an explosive event, and it didn't disappoint. Canines of all shapes and sizes were there, showing off all their talents for the public to see, but most importantly, having a day of fun. Local businesses and enterprises were also at the event, showing off their own skills and talents as well as promoting their own businesses.
We're here to promote Dog Watch in North East Lincolnshire here today at this lovely, glorious morning. The idea of Dog Watch is to enable people who are walking the dogs in the community to keep their eyes and ears open and see anything untoward, give the appropriate authorities a call.
I think it's encouraging people within their own communities to get involved and, to give something and see what they can do, because obviously as an agency ourselves, we can't know exactly what's amiss. If we see something, we don't know that it's an issue. We don't know what the norm is. So it's really about people within their own communities to see what might be going on and to then report it on.
Well, the best thing is that it's free. It encourages people to keep an eye open. Keep the environment good for them, and make it an interesting thing to do.
Well, we can find out more of these sort of common things that are going on around North East Lincolnshire. Maybe a certain area there's lots of fly tipping. Maybe there's street lighting not going on, which might create an unsafe neighbourhood sort of vibe. And really, if people report these things on through Dog Watch, which is a non-membership thing, it's just a card with some information on, and they can take this card, they can report these issues onto the appropriate agency, and then we can go about trying to rectify these things.
We're here today. I'm raising money for guide dogs today, doing a tombola for guide dogs. As I'm a guide dog owner, I'm visually impaired. I've got 10% tunnel vision in my left eye, so I'm not totally blind. Because guide dogs have been really good and helpful and kind and helped me a lot, and they did operations on my retired guide dog before I lost her, so I decided to raise money for guide dogs. Having a guide dog, it gives you the independence where you can go out on your own and you don't have to rely on people all the time, and it is just really good therapy, and it gives you something to focus on, and you're able to do things that you couldn't do before because you've got the dog and you can rely on her, and they're so well trained before you get them. It is unbelievable. Like, I can go into Tesco's, tell her exactly what I want, and she will go to it, put a nose on it and show me where it is, guide my hand to the product I want. She's just absolutely brilliant.
Classes were held throughout the day, including Trickiest Trick, Politest Paw Shake, Fabulous Feather Dog and Loveliest Lady Dog, with many canines taking home several prizes, even if some pups didn't quite take the day seriously.
Latest employment figures have revealed that a record 2.5 million people are in work across Yorkshire and the Humber. Released today, the figures show that the number of people out of work has fallen by 7,000. Nationally, unemployment has fallen overall by 52,000 between April to June this year to 1.6 million. Minister for Employment, Damien Hines, says this shows the country is in a position of strength and shows that it always pays for people to be in work. Now, as the weather warms up, an ice cream can be a perfect way to cool down, but East Riding Council are asking people to check if the ice cream van they're buying from is properly licensed. The advice comes after the council received reports of unlicensed ice cream vans operating across the East Riding, including Bridlington, Beverley and Hornsey. Mobile ice cream vans need a licence to trade within the county, and people can see if a trader is licensed due to a pink and white plate being displayed on the vehicle. Rogue ice cream sellers can be prosecuted and face fines of up to £1,000 for each offence. As the Amy Johnson Festival continues across the city of Hull, one of its most popular exhibitions is sadly set to come to an end. The Da Vinci Engineered exhibition has been based in Zebedee's Yard car park, the focal point of the celebrations for the last month. It's as Hull celebrates the 75th anniversary of the death of one of its most famous daughters. One of the more iconic pieces of work that's come from the festival is a moth for Amy, a concept created by East Riding artist Saffron Waghorn, in which the city's buildings are adorned with 1.5 metre wide moths. I've been along to take up the trail. 59 moths have been placed across Hull, East Riding and further afield as part of the Moth for Amy project, where you can discover a flutter of magical moths. And I'm at one now at Queen's Gardens. The ripple effect opposite Hull's Holy Trinity Church outside St Paul's Boxing Academy. Fly me to the moon here on Hull Marina. And this one is called Wonderful Amy, located on the Lowgate in Hull's Old Town. Besides another of the moths on the wall of Hull Street Life Museum, I spoke to local historian Alec Gill, who has recently brought out a new book about the city's famous aviatrix. He thinks nothing but good can come of more people learning about the Hull heroine.
Well, it's fantastic because it's making it aware to the people all around the city and beyond, Amy Johnson's impact. And so the moths, the follow-up, the same Rick Welton did the toads for Larkin. These moths for Amy are a fantastic way of conveying the idea in a tangible way, the impact Amy had on the city and worldwide as well, because she was a celebrity in the real sense of the word, and a heroine or whatever, and she deserves to be more recognised. Maybe as a woman she didn't quite get the coverage she should have got.
When the moths were unveiled, we caught up with Claire Hubie, the project manager.
We've got 26 moths, she said, in the city centre that are dotted around the place, that are easy to find, easy walking distance from the city centre. There are a further 22, I think, out in the suburbs, North Hull, East Hull, West Hull. You go out and find them at East Park Animal Centre, the Freedom Centre on Preston Road. We've got one up on Prince's Avenue, one up at the university. And then, of course, for those really avid moth fans, we've got the ones that are down south. We've got one at the Science Museum in London, one at Herne Bay, which, of course, is where, unfortunately, Amy met her death. Croydon, we couldn't get it at the airport because it's not open to the public, but we've got it at Wallington Library, which is very nearby, and also at Sheffield University, which is where she attended university.
Dr. Gill has brought out Amy Johnson, Hessel Road tomboy, and specialises in the history of Hessel Road and its famous sons and daughters. He says he was shocked with the lack of knowledge about Amy until relatively recently.
I'm a champion of Hessel Road, you see, more than Amy Johnson. But it's good if you're writing about an area as a local historian to highlight anybody who is world famous. And I remember back in 1991, I actually featured Amy Johnson and Big Little Blocker on a plate, a Hessel Road wall plate, dedicated to the women of Hessel Road. And people, when I was selling it, you know, museums and various places, people said, oh, what's Amy Johnson got to do with Hessel Road? And so I'm championing the fact that, you know, she was a Hessel Road girl, something she's denied. I mean, excuse the mixed metaphor, but if she was alive today, she'd be turning in her grave. What I'm doing, you know, sort of linking her to a true past sort of thing.
That's it for part one. Join me after the break when Fraser MacDonald and Rob Brealey join me on the sofa to tell me how they'll be rocking Cleethorpes Town. Welcome back. You're watching Estuary News. Still to come this Wednesday evening, Dan Kemp brings us all the latest news from the world of sport, and local musicians Fraser MacDonald and Rob Brealey tell me how they're planning on rocking Cleethorpes Town. Hull Training and Adult Education have achieved gold, the first non-school or college to be awarded this status. The Humber Gold Standard helps students achieve their long-term employment, education and training goals, and was developed by the Humber LEP in association with the DeFlog VQ Trust. To secure the standard, organisations must pass a rigorous assessment process by qualified assessors against robust criteria demonstrating the organisation's excellence in delivering careers advice and guidance. Councillor Phil Webster says this award highlights the important work Hull Training and Education are doing in ensuring their learners receive high quality services. A further 7 employers have been revealed ahead of a recruitment and training fair taking place next week. They include Argos, 5 Starfish and Humberside Police, and will join a number of other businesses, training providers and recruitment agencies attending the careers fair next Thursday at Cleethorpes Memorial Hall. Alongside the exhibition stands, short seminars will be held, giving people the opportunity to learn about particular career options and gain some helpful job seeker advice. The event opens to the public from 2 p.m. until 7 p.m. Staff at Grimsby Hospital are putting a new twist on fundraising for their hospital by having a go at running a virtual hospital. The Theme Hospital computer game will be taking place in the foyer of Diana, Princess of Wales Hospital this Friday to raise funds for the Health Tree Foundation, which is the hospital's official charity. It's a digital simulation game where players design and operate their own hospital. System administrator Chris Weevil teamed up with his friend Max Stringer, a tutor at the Grimsby Institute, to make the fundraising event happen. They will now compete with other staff from the hospital and students and staff from Grimsby Institute as people will try to design and operate an online digital hospital. The whole thing will be streamed live on the internet, so anyone in the world will be able to see the action as it happens. Clee is about to rock once again with Cleethorpes Rocks, a weekend event which will be held at Regent Park this weekend. Live music will be played across 3 days, and Fraser MacDonald and Rob Brealey of Mustang join me on the sofa now to tell me about their involvement in the event. Not Mustang Sally.
No,
just Mustang, yeah. Rob and Fraser and a few of your other musicians in the band who can't be here today.
Yeah, we've got Josh, Owen and Andy.
Yeah. And you're all within the group festival, gentlemen.
You're Fraser's guitarist and I'm the drummer. You're the lead guitarist?
Yeah, I'm lead guitar. I write the riffs for me, and then you write your own stuff, don't you?
Yeah, so when it comes to practice.
So all original material?
Yeah.
So Mustang isn't necessarily, well it isn't by the sounds of it, a cover group?
No, there's been times at gigs in Grimsby where we've played a few covers, to stay on the stage a bit longer. Yeah. And but yeah, mainly all original stuff.
Where does the inspiration come to write original content? What kind of things do you write about and then produce in lyrics?
I think the story from the songs comes from previous experiences, life experiences, things like that. And the things we maybe want to happen,
okay,
that maybe can't happen, we write them in songs.
Okay.
I guess it sort of goes on what you experienced at that moment in time in your life, and you can sort of relate to it, and then just
absolutely
it'll just flow out.
Yeah, and put that on words, and then create a song from, like you said, those life experiences, what you had. Now, Mustang, I believe, a relatively new group in the local area.
Yeah.
Last year you was set up, is that right?
Yeah, April last year we founded, and then we became the Mustang setup, what we have now with Rob, in October.
October, yeah.
October 2015, yeah.
How's it feel to be on board?
Oh, it feels great. Like, we're a great group of lads. It's just easy to practice with them, and we all get along really well.
Good.
And we've just introduced a fifth member, Josh, the older brother of Owen, our bassist.
Okay.
Who come on board last month or so.
Okay.
So yeah, it's been really great as well.
Now, there are a lot of local bands out there nowadays. How different are you to other bands? What do you offer? What's different?
I think we offer, I don't know, an electric feeling. I don't know, something that other bands don't.
Okay.
We've gone sort of, songs are sort of really fast paced and stuff. Since we've had Josh in the band, we've slowed it all down, added synth and stuff, so it's sort of more of a dreamy, sort of melodic sort of sound that isn't much around here at the minute.
So not necessarily would appeal to everyone, but there is a certain niche there.
Definitely.
Now, you're here today to tell me that you're performing at Clear Rocks this weekend.
Yeah.
You're performing on the Saturday, I believe, aren't you? And Scouting for Girls are the headline act on Saturday. So do you feel the competition and rivalry, or are you confident that you'll do a sterling job?
I think we should do an okay job. I feel like a small fish on a big hook, but yeah.
It's sort of one of the things you just want to get up there and impress.
Yeah.
Do the best you can, and you never know who's watching you at gigs like this.
And how long will you be performing for on Saturday?
Half an hour.
Roughly half hour. So
Yeah, half an hour. So,
half an hour well spent. Gentlemen, I wish you all the best with the concert. Thank you very much.
Thank you very
indeed
much.
for
Cheers for
coming
having
in.
us.
Now it's time for all the latest sporting action, courtesy of our man Dan Kemp.
We'll start with the news that Hull City midfielder Sam Clucas has signed a new 3-year deal
with
at the K-Comps Stadium today. He joined the club last summer for £1.25 million from Chesterfield and was one of the star performers in the opening Premier League win against Leicester on Saturday. It continues the 25-year-old's meteoric rise through the divisions, having now played in the Conference all the way up to the top tier in consecutive seasons. He's now contracted to the club until 2019. Meanwhile, today, online speculation is linking Everton striker Umar Niasse to the Tigers. He only joined the Toffees in January, but has found gaining a first-team place difficult. The suggestion is that he could join City on a season-long loan. Simon Russell was North Ferriby United's hero as they recorded their first ever win in the National League last night. The villagers thought they'd squandered their 2-1 advantage when Guiseley's Ollie Johnson beat goalkeeper Rory Watson in the last few minutes. But midfielder Russell scored an added time winner after the ball struck him as it was cleared. The game came against the backdrop of last-minute team changes as the lorry fire on the M180 prevented a number of players making the start of the game due to traffic. Steve Howsham explains.
We had to reshuffle. Louis Bruce has come in, Jake Skelton come in, Liam Slade had to drop out because of traffic, Mark Gray, Sam Topless, and you just think, how much bad luck can we have? And I'm delighted for them that they've come in and put a shift in, because first half, I thought it was immense, and we set off on the right way, on the front foot, and we got 2 early goals, and that's what teams have been doing against us. Got a bit nervy, it was bound to, because you've got 3 players at the back that's never played, and not played together. That was the first game together. Young Taron Hare was magnificent at full back. I could go for them all because they all worked the socks off.
Elsewhere, Scunthorpe United's midfielder Josh Morris says he was impressed with his side's fighting spirit after they picked up a 2-1 away win in Kingston upon Thames last night. AFC Wimbledon were the hosts, but were 2 down to Tom Hopper and Morris Strikes before they netted themselves on the hour. After the game, the latter said it was a tough place to go to, especially bearing in mind their recent promotion from League 2. Grimsby Town were 3-0 down at half-time in their game at Colchester United. Craig Disley and Omar Bogle each scored in the second half, but it wasn't enough to rescue a point for the Mariners. And a point of note is that Town's game against Leyton Orient on Saturday has been designated as Veterans Day, in which they'll celebrate the life of former captain and war hero Sydney Wheelhouse. On to rugby, and Hull FC coach Lee Radford says next weekend's Challenge Cup final is not a distraction to his side ahead of tomorrow's Super 8 game against Catalans. The win will mean the Black and Whites are guaranteed a top 4 spot ahead of next week's Wembley clash against Wigan Warriors. And finally for now, Kieran Dixon has been named in Hull Kingston Rovers' squad for Friday's game at Salford. He's replaced lonely David Thompson in the only change to their 19-man squad. And that's all for the sport.
Thanks very much, Dan. That's it for tonight. If you have a news story, then please visit our Facebook or Twitter pages or email news@estuary.tv. You can also phone our news desk, which is a Grimsby number 01472 31553. That is 01472 31553. You can also put pen to paper and write to us at Estuary TV, Nuns Corner, Laceby Road, Grimsby, North East Lincolnshire, DN34 5BQ. This Friday is World Photo Day. If you have any happy snaps from your holidays, please send them in to us in the usual way. 3 days of live music, of course, taking place this weekend for Cleethorpes Rocks, starting on Friday, running until Sunday the 21st of August. Some of the headline acts include Wishbone Ash, Scouting for Girls, a certain Toya Wilcox, and my guests today, Mustang and the full ensemble. If you'd like to take part in the Moth for Amy Moth Trail, pick up one of these leaflets from tourist information centres and museums across the East Riding area. Join me tomorrow when I'll be joined on the sofa by David Ormsby of Grimsby Fishing Heritage Centre and Dr Bayek about her charity Strek. Good evening.
With university courses on your doorstep, there's lots of reasons to study at the University Centre Grimsby. Sponsored by the University Centre Grimsby.
Hi, it's the weather. Tonight we'll see some evening sunshine, patchy cloud and hill fog with minimum temperatures of 12 degrees. Tomorrow it's going to be dull early with a warm sunshine, breezy and maximum temperatures of 22 degrees.
With university courses on your doorstep, there's lots of reasons to study at the University Centre Grimsby. Sponsored by the University Centre Grimsby.
Good evening, you're watching Estuary News. In the headlines tonight, a man is recovered from the River Trent, rejecting plans to turn Grimsby into Las Vegas, jubilation for students on A-level results day, and transforming an overgrown piece of land. And keeping me company on the sofa tonight are my three guests, David Ormsby of the Grimsby Fishing Heritage Centre, telling me about the centre's recent award. Before that, I'm joined by Dr Buke and Dr Rudy, chatting about their charity walk. Hello, good evening. Welcome to Thursday's programme with me, Luke Adams. First tonight, a 67-year-old man has died following a crash near Withensea in East Yorkshire. It happened yesterday when a silver Suzuki motorcycle collided with a blue tractor. The 23-year-old driver of the tractor sustained minor injuries and was taken to Hull One Infirmary for treatment. The incident happened at around 2 p.m. on the B1242 Withensea Road. Officers are now appealing for witnesses. Underwater search teams searching the River Trent yesterday have recovered the body of a man. The search was conducted as part of an ongoing investigation into missing Birmingham man Neil Fairbairn, who was last seen at around 2 a.m. on Sunday. His silver Vauxhall Astra was later found abandoned close to the tree line of the cemetery, close to the River Trent. The man's body was recovered close to Gunners Wharf, and a post-mortem examination has been taking place today. Mr. Fairbairn's family have been informed and are being supported by specialist officers. Fears that an area of Grimsby would be turned into Las Vegas have been allayed after councillors rejected controversial plans to beam giant images onto the walls of the Grimsby Institute. Nearby residents made several complaints about the proposal and argued it could trigger a pattern for other tall buildings in the town. Our reporter Fred McNamara brings us the full story.
Grimsby's residents need no longer fear that the town could be turned into Las Vegas after controversial plans to beam giant images onto the walls of Grimsby Institute were recently rejected by councillors. Bosses at the Institute wanted to advertise their events and recruitment campaigns on 18-metre-high images onto the University Centre building. After opposition from residents, councillors voted yesterday to reject the plans. Grimsby Institute Group's Executive Director of Marketing, Hugh Callaway, reassured members of the planning committee that the site would not be turned into a Las Vegas street scene. 9 councillors voted to refuse the application, with 1 voting against and 1 abstaining.
Thousands of students across our region have been celebrating exam success today as A-level results were announced. Early indications show that sixth forms in the East Riding have maintained their successful trend for the 5th year in a row, meaning many of the 1,200 teenagers will be moving on in September to the education or employment of their choice. Students at Cottingham High sixth form achieved a 13% increase in A-star and A grades, with 37% of entries gaining the top grades. 67% of grades at Hesel High School were at A-star to B and 30% were A-star to A, which is the school's best ever result. Meanwhile, in North East Lincolnshire, 72% of students at Caister Grammar gained A-star to B, and Grimsby's Franklin College recorded a 97% pass rate. And many congratulations to all those students who got their results today. Residents in Grimsby are attempting to rectify an overgrown area of land on Toothill Gardens. Residents, young and old, are keen to transform the land in a nature reserve and ultimately create a haven for animals and the public. However, some residents are concerned that trimming the overgrown greenery will result in the land being loitered by antisocial youths. That hasn't stopped a group of youngsters, however, rolling up their sleeves and getting stuck in cleaning up the land. Fred spoke to them to find out more.
Well, this was once a shoulder length, like grass and nettles and thorns, but we decided to clear it so it gives children an area to play in.
And so the elderly residents can come and relax and enjoy.
And people around here were very passionate about the brambles, and they wanted to keep them so they could have brambles and eat them. And we said, because we're clearing it, they thought we were going to clear the brambles.
But we're not, because we want it as a nature reserve, so as the birds are nesting in brambles, we didn't want to take them out. The animals coming back and the elderly residents relaxing.
We can
relax and walk out, we can relax and enjoy.
And it'll attract children instead of playing on the roads, which is unsafe. They can play on here. There is 2 other members of our team which could not join us at the moment because they're on holiday having a break, which I don't blame them. They're called Holly and Megan, and they've helped us a lot, and when they come back we're planning on adding compost heaps so people can bring garden waste instead of paying for a brown bin.
Which will make it easier to get rid of their garden waste.
And we would like to thank Watson Pallets for supplying us some pallets so we can make these stuff. Pink Skip Company, they've supplied us a skip so we can put bags in, and they donate £5 to the Pink Rose Suite. And yeah. And thank you for Pennells for supplying us some compost so we can make raised flower beds. And we would still like some support from local companies and the council to source benches, bird tables, fence and gate, dog poo bin, and advice on a wildlife garden area.
Hospital staff are about to put on their walking boots to raise vital funds for the intensive care unit at Scunthorpe General Hospital. The event has been organised by Dr Sahar Buak, who works at the hospital, and she joins me now along with Dr Rudy to tell me why they're trekking those important miles. Thank you both very much indeed for coming in.
Thank you for having us on
Welcome to
your
the show. Dr Buak, you're the mastermind behind this charity mission. Tell me first of all why you decided to set this up.
Well, I've worked at Scunthorpe General Hospital for almost 2 years now.
Okay.
And in that time I've done a lot of work on the intensive care unit, and I've seen firsthand how hard the doctors and nurses work on the unit to help the patients. And I just thought that it would be nice to do something to show my appreciation.
Gold star to you, fantastic. Now you are a doctor.
Yes.
What is your role within the hospital?
I'm an anaesthetic registrar, so basically I work between theatres doing theatre lists, and I also do on-calls covering the intensive care unit and labour ward.
Okay. And you've been there for 2 years?
Yes, for 2 years.
A rewarding role, which I'm sure you enjoy?
Yes, definitely.
What are some of the highlights of your particular job?
Well, I think a lot of the highlights is that, you know, when you're in theatre and you put the patient to sleep and then they come out of theatre and they wake up and they're out of surgery and they're okay, you feel like, you know, you've helped them to get better, so that's definitely rewarding. And in labour ward as well.
And hopefully this charity mission, what you're going to do, will bring you further rewards which you will reap for many years to come, because I believe you have a target of £10,000, don't you?
Yes, we're hoping to reach £10,000 to put money towards buying some equipment that is needed on the intensive care unit.
Okay.
And, you know, basically I've asked some of the staff on the intensive care unit, Dr Jerry Thomas, who is one of the lead clinicians, and Sister Amanda Holmes, who is the nurse in charge of ICU. And they gave me a little wish list of things that they would like to have on the unit.
What type of things have they asked for specifically so far?
Well, one of the things that we would benefit from on the intensive care unit would be communication aids. These are basically devices ranging from simple whiteboards and pens to some electronic devices that transmit vibrations from the throat and convert them into sound. And it just helps with patients who have a breathing tube in place to convey messages to the staff, and it just improves communication with staff.
Okay. Fantastic. And you've enlisted the help of Dr Rudy
Yes.
to take part in this walk along the hospitals. Are you feeling fit and able, Dr Rudy?
Yeah, I've been doing a bit of training, a couple of weeks, but I think another week left before 27th and 28th, I think.
Because it's next weekend.
Yes, it will be the bank holiday weekend, yes.
Yeah. So we know why Dr Buak is taking part. What was your reasons for taking part, Dr Rudy?
Well, like Dr Buak, I've worked almost 2 years now at Scunthorpe Hospital. I joined as a very junior doctor, and hospital has given me so much in the last 2 years. Just want to give it a bit back of what I can.
Okay, fantastic.
Yeah.
So where will your walk be starting from, doctors?
Well, it's over 2 days. So on Saturday we set off from Diana, Princess of Wales in Grimsby, and we'll be walking to Scunthorpe General Hospital, which is around 30 miles. And then on the second day we'll be setting off from Scunthorpe General Hospital to Goulin District Hospital, which is about 20 miles. So it'll total at 50 miles.
50 miles in total. So very, very brave and sensible footwear.
Well, yeah. I'll see if I can get through with these.
Sensible footwear, yeah. Trainers along them lines, yeah. And hopefully some good weather.
Well, hopefully yes.
During the day, or will you be walking through the night as well?
Well, the plan is to set off at 8 a.m. and if we go at a stable pace, we should arrive towards the evening, just before sunset.
Okay, fantastic. So your target is £10,000.
Yes.
£800 has been raised so far for the intensive care unit.
Yes.
How can people make donations if they would like to make donations?
Well, we've set up a Just Giving web page through the Health Tree Foundation, which is the charity foundation of the Trust. So you can donate through the web page, which is justgiving.com/fundraising/try-hospital-walk. You can also text donations by texting NLAG 67, NLAG 67, then the amount you would like to donate in pounds, and text that to 70070.
Fantastic. Well, I wish you all the best with
Thank
your
you.
charity walk. Thank you very much, Judy, for coming in to see me today.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Join me after the break when we'll have more of the day's headlines and sharing celebrations with my second guest today, David Ormsby of the Grimsby Fishing Heritage Centre. Welcome back. You're watching Estuary News. Still to come tonight, the latest news from the world of sport, and David Ormsby tells me how the Grimsby Fishing Heritage Centre is celebrating recent success. A new project is currently under development at Withensea in East Yorkshire, which will offer a place for men of a certain age to visit to share the tools and resources they need to work on projects of their own. The Men in Shed Withensea project is a larger version of the typical man's shed in the garden and is a safe place where men can work on projects such as carpentry, joinery, bike repairs and even boat renovation, as well as meeting new people. The project aims to combat issues such as loneliness, social isolation, physical illness and mental health issues. Humber and Wolds Rural Community Council will work closely with South Holderness Resource Centre, along with local people, to establish the Men's Shed in line with the national Men's Shed movement. The project will be funded for 2 years, and after its first year, it aims to become shedder-led and sustainable through its own activities. Hull Training and Adult Education are recruiting volunteers to support learners with a range of learning needs, difficulties and disabilities to make sure that everyone who wants to access the courses can do so. Learners aged 16 to 80 plus on a range of courses need support in the classroom to help them with reading, writing and math skills, and anyone who can spare a minimum of 2 hours a week can get involved. Past volunteers have gone on to become teachers and support workers. Staff at Scunthorpe and Grimsby hospitals had a helping hand recently when members of the executive team donned uniforms and spent a shift working on the front line. It was in order for executives and non-executives to see firsthand how the wards and departments work and how staff care for patients when they come through the doors. The day was organised by Chief Nurse Tara Philby, who wanted members of the executive team to be able to immerse themselves in the clinical front line so they could see how systems and processes work. Dr. Karen Dunderdale, Deputy Chief Executive and Director of Operations, says it gave her a valuable insight into what it's like for staff looking after patients day in and day out on the front line. The Grimsby Fishing Heritage Centre has been allowing visitors to discover what life was like for British trawlermen in a job described as the most dangerous occupation in the UK since the centre opened back in 1991. It's recently won a prestigious award, and to tell me more about it, I'm delighted to welcome my second guest today, David Ormsby from the centre. Congratulations on your award, David.
Thank you very much.
It was the Quality Rosemark Award you won, wasn't it?
It was. That's one of 3, actually. The Quality Rosemark was from Visit England. It's an independent sort of assessment of the museum where they come actually as a mystery visitor. They look all around different aspects of the centre and give us some really useful feedback as to how we can improve, and thankfully we won the Quality Rosemark as a quality assured visitor attraction.
So a bit like a mystery shopper we used to see, or I'm sure we still do see in the supermarkets. You never quite know when
yes.
you could be surprised. Unsuspecting appearances.
Yeah.
Did you feel as though the centre needed any improvements?
Well, we're always working on trying to think how we can make it better, and there's things like that are of course really important for us because these are people that are touring all over the country and they know what they're looking for. So we take it very seriously what they say to improve, and hopefully we can do it, and other things such as visitor feedback as well that help us to keep where we are.
What's your average visitors numbers like for the centre? Because like I said in the link there, David, you've been going since 1991. I was a visitor many years ago and very impressed with the centre. So what are your visitor numbers like on a yearly basis?
We're doing very well, thankfully, and I think that's partly because of the rise in people interested in their own family history. And because the fishing industry on the Humber, Grimsby and Hull was so vast,
yes.
There's so many people that are interested in discovering family roots and finding that they were part of this huge thing that was happening here. So there's people from all over the world that want to come and learn about this important story. So
do we get visitors from all over the world coming to the
absolutely,
centre?
yeah. In fact, I think there's some news today talking about how Americans are keen on visiting Grimsby as a #1 destination at the minute. So it's incredible.
Because it has got a history,
phenomenal
history, valuable fishing ports, and of course on the North Bank, Hull was once a thriving fishing port and fishing community, main rivals, which sadly on the North Bank we don't have our fishing community now, which is unfortunate. But the Fishing Heritage Centre helps tell the story of life on board a trawler.
It does. So for 25 years this year, we're celebrating our anniversary this year, we've been telling a really important story, because it's not just our local history, it's our national history.
Of course,
I mean,
yes,
fish and chips is regarded as a national dish.
That's
we
right,
wouldn't have it
yes.
if there weren't people doing this, as you described, the most dangerous job in the country, to catch that fish for us.
Yeah. 11th consecutive year, I believe, this award was awarded to yourselves, wasn't it?
It is, yes.
So what other competition did you fight off in order to win the award then from other museums and centres?
Well, it's more of an award that you get if you meet a certain standard.
Okay.
So we weren't too worried about other people being good as well. We just wanted to make sure that we were at that mark as well. So, yes, so we just keep those standards up and hope that they still think that we're meeting them.
And here's to the next 25 years.
Absolutely.
And also today, I heard that you received a Sandford Award. So double celebrations for the Fishing Heritage Centre, David. Is the Sandford Award different to this particular award you won initially?
It's similar in the sense that it's independently judged, but it's by people from what's called the Heritage Education Trust, as well as Bishop Grosseteste University over at Lincoln.
In Lincoln, yes.
Now, heritage and education are two things I'm very passionate about. Of course, it's the heritage of the museum. I trained as a teacher for this job, so when we discovered there was a Heritage Education Award, we thought we've got to do this for the Fishing Heritage Centre. The feedback from them, again from touring museums all over the country, is vital to us, and they've come back and said that they would like to give us a Sandford Award,
Fantastic.
which puts us similar to museums like the Victoria and Albert Museum and, you know, the palaces in the country. So we're so proud to be on the map for heritage, which
Flying
is
the
fabulous.
flag for the local heritage. David, congratulations on your award. Here's to the next 25 years.
Thank you very much.
Now Dan Kemp brings us all the latest news from the world of sport.
Grimsby Town's assistant manager says his side have defensive issues that need resolving following their 3-2 defeat at Colchester on Tuesday night. The Mariners were 3-0 down at half-time, and Chris Doig had this to say when asked if he was concerned.
I'm not worried, no, but we need to be better. That's pretty obvious. So, again, we've worked on things in trainings. We've been working on things anyway in training. We spoke to them, showed them clips and what have you. So, it's not like we don't know there's a problem. We're working hard to fix it and eradicate the mistakes. And the lads, when they cross that line, have to take responsibility and do that.
And they host Leyton Orient next up on Saturday at Blundell Park. Hull City have today signed defender Bradley Maslen-Jones on a free transfer. The 18-year-old had previously been at Peterborough United and has joined the Tigers Academy on a one-year contract. He's been on trial with the club during pre-season and was part of the side that drew an under-23 friendly on Monday night at Ferriby. Meanwhile, first-team transfer target Nemanja Nikolic appears to be moving closer to a move to the club today. He's reportedly interested in a move to the Tigers, but will decide his fate after his current side's Champions League qualifiers second leg against Irish club Dundalk. Graham Alexander says he's impressed with Scunthorpe United's next opponent's Gillingham's start to the season. They've won 2 and drawn 1 of their games so far, and Alexander thinks it'll be another tough game for the Iron.
You know, they have made a positive start like they did last season, straight out of the blocks, just like us. So it's important that we continue where we left off on Tuesday, and that sort of attitude and commitment to the game added to the quality that we showed in different spells, but certainly in the first half of the day where we could have scored more goals, we were superb, and we kept Wimbledon down to minimal. And we have to do that again on Saturday, because it'll be a tough game for us. But like I say, we're in a good place. The players are in a good place. They're feeling really confident in what they're doing and the players around them, and we have to maintain that.
Steve Howsham says he'll assess his players' fitness levels over the next few days after playing twice a week since the start of the season. The Villagers host Torquay United on Saturday, but Howsham says he's been impressed with what he's seen so far.
Well, the fitness levels have been great. We brought them in pre-season. We worked them hard. They knew what it was going to be about, and like you say, we're only a part-time team, but fitness levels tonight went through the roof, and you know, they all ran through brick walls, and that's what we do. You know, that's what I love my teams to do, just go out there and give it the best shot all the time.
And finally for now, Hull FC are in Super 8's action tonight. They welcome the Catalans Dragons to the KCOM Stadium, where 2 points will see them just 80 minutes from a guaranteed place in the grand final. And that's all for the sport.
That's it for tonight, I'm afraid. If you have a news story, then please visit our Facebook or Twitter pages or email news@estuary.tv. You can also phone our news desk, which is a Grimsby number 01472 31553. That's 01472 31553. You can also put pen to paper and write to us at Estuary TV, Nuns Corner, Laceby Road, Grimsby, North East Lincolnshire, DN34 5BQ. Thank you very much to my guests today for joining me on the sofa, and as always, thank you for watching. Join me same time tomorrow when I'll be reviewing the week's local papers with my guest Anne Winslow of Quest Therapies based locally. Until tomorrow, from all of us on the team, have a very good evening.
With university courses on your doorstep, there's lots of reasons to study at the University Centre Grimsby. Sponsored by the University Centre Grimsby.
Good evening and welcome to Estuary TV's weather. A dry and fine evening with some late sunny spells in places before dusk, remaining dry overnight with variable amounts of cloud. Winds will be light and easterly, minimum temperatures of 11 degrees. Tomorrow mostly dry and cloudy initially, but rain quickly spreading northeast across all parts, becoming heavy and persistent. Rain possibly clearing by dusk, but followed by showers, feeling cooler, becoming windy, and maximum temperatures of 18 degrees.
With university courses on your doorstep, there's lots of reasons to study at the University Centre Grimsby. Sponsored by the University Centre Grimsby.